3, 2, 1. You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We are the Real Pineapple. This is Hunter, and I'm here with Colin, who's apparently opening a beer.
What do you mean? That's just a sound effect that we use.
Yeah. That was me closing my door. Colin, how are you, sir?
I'm super chill. How you doing?
Yeah, we've had a couple drinks here tonight, boys and girls.
Hey, how dare you?
Which is a perfect reason to review this children's movie.
It's almost as awkward as when I walk in all by myself to like a bunch of kids and parents, and I'm just like, I'm not creepy. I like to review movies.
Well, try being the awkward, like 30-year-old black dude crying in the corner. Because I am a very ugly crier. Like to quote New Girl, I do cry like just as long on that show.
Yeah. There was some choking up moments in this one.
Yeah, so we're talking about Coco, and I'm just going to get this. So I'm just going to say, Pixar recently, I really enjoyed Finding Dory. Actually, I really enjoyed Finding Dory. But I remember The Good Dinosaur, I wasn't a fan of. Cars 2, I think.
Inside Out was good.
Inside Out was amazing. I do love Inside Out. Cars 2 is a piece of shit. I refuse to see Cars 3. I'm not even really.
Is that Pixar still, or is that just Disney?
Yeah.
That is Pixar? Okay.
That is Pixar, yeah.
Okay.
So going into this, I did kind of have that feeling I got when Disney was like, hey, we're doing Princess and the Frog. And I remember a bunch of people like, oh, why are they doing a movie starring black people? It's like, oh, God, really? We're still there. All right. So going into this, I was really happy because I was like, you know what, like, you know, seeing a movie of minorities that were really immersed in the Latino culture, like that's awesome. Okay, because just on the music alone, I was really curious how that was gonna work, and we'll get there in a second. But
it's set in Mexico. It's straight up Mexico.
Yeah, but before we can get to Coco, we have to talk about this 21-minute cinder block that's tied around Coco, which is called Olaf's Bullshit Adventure. That's what it should be called. And so I don't think I've really mentioned it too much on the podcast. I think Frozen is an okay movie. I think it's good, but I wasn't over the moon with it. Like everyone, it seemed like
it's a sing along.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a musical. So the people that love it, they just love the songs.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as an actual movie, I'm just like, okay. Like, it's good, but I still think Tangled is a far better movie than Frozen is. And Josh Gad, I will be the first to admit, as much as I love him on Murder on the Orient Express, I still do hold some hate for him from Pixels. Because his shtick can just be fucking grating. It's like, oh my god! Ah! Like, and he just like gets really loud and just dumb. So,
tell me how you really feel,
dude. So I go into this movie. I had no idea this short was gonna be a thing.
I didn't either. Which is like, if you need to know, like, people need to like warn you. Like, you should have an option to skip it.
You really should. And honestly, so I'll tell you right now, if your theater shows like 1 o'clock for a showing, you could show up at 1:35 and not miss the movie. Because you'll probably get 10 minutes at least, if not 15 minutes of previews, and then you have 21 minutes as a goddamn snowman trying to figure out a Christmas tradition for the Frozen bitches. And I just I'll be honest with you, Colin, at 5 minutes I was pretty irritated by it because I just thought Olaf was pretty annoying, and at 10 minutes I went, alright, cool, like, I've had my fill, we're good. And then it went an additional 10 minutes and I just went, man,
dude, it was so long.
it really felt like it wasn't going to end.
I was like, did I walk into the wrong movie? Is there a Frozen 2 that just came out that I didn't know of, that I just walked into? Oh, man, dude. Like, I hated how, like, I wasn't prepared for that. Like, I really feel like that was, like, you know, duped into seeing something I didn't want to see. Or, like, at least, like, let me know, like, what I'm getting in store for.
Yeah, like, I mean, we really just had no choice on what we saw. Much like a girl going up to a Louis C.K. hotel room. We just had no idea.
Haha.
Thank you. But we just had no idea what we were walking
into. And dude, like, Pixar's known for doing this type of thing. They always have, like, their little shorts that they like to play, right? And, like, a lot of them are actually good. Like, there was, like, the lava one in front of Inside Out. Like,
yeah.
Where it's, like, the little volcano. And then there's also, like... I forget which movie it was before, but there's one about, like, a dog that used to get all the table scraps, and it's, like, from the dog's point of view.
Was that Finding Dory?
Was it Finding Dory?
I think it was Finding Dory.
Yes, and I forget what that one was called, but it was about the little dog. And, like, those ones are good. Those ones are only, like, 5 minutes tops, right?
Exactly.
And then, like, this one, I was like, what is going on? Is this still... Like, this is really, like, 15 minutes in, and it doesn't even seem like they're at the end yet? I was losing my mind.
Yeah, they took their sweet time on this one, and it would be different if they were able to somehow craft a decent story out of it, but it fucking drags. I mean, it's the length of a TV episode, honestly, with commercials.
That dog one was called Feast, I just remembered.
Yeah, there you go. I actually own that on my Amazon, because it was like 99 cents.
It's super adorable.
The dog he's a good boy, but but I will say that short might have helped the movie, because just when the movie started, I was like, oh, thank God, something. I was like, saying something else besides this fucking snowman.
Yeah,
but
I was pretty annoyed that, like, I know that this movie was almost 2 hours. It's like 1 hour and 50 minutes, and, like, I'm sitting there and I was like, I wasn't planning on starting this movie at 12:30. I was planning on starting it at 12. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. I think what helped me is, and I'll be honest, it changed my mood. I did a full 180, because after that fucking short, I was sitting there just stewing in my seat, like, oh, this movie's fucking terrible. But then there's this amazingly awesome, like Mexican rendition of the Disney theme.
Yeah.
When the castle comes up, and I went, okay, that helped a lot. So that kind of switched my mood. And I gotta say, man, I don't know how I would list my Pixar movies, but this might creep onto my top 10 list. I enjoyed the shit out of this, honestly. Yeah, kind of your thoughts.
So Pixar, I think, without a doubt, is just, like, a step above the rest when it comes to, like, how, like, beautiful their movies look, right?
Yes.
Like, I think Pixar is just, they have the best animators. I don't know, like, they probably get paid the best. I have no idea, but, dude, these movies just look better and better, and this is one of the best looking Pixar movies to date. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like, when he goes to, like, the land of the dead, and we'll get into the plot in a second, but I mean, just the way it all looks is gorgeous. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I didn't, like, just the name Coco, you really get nothing from that. I seen the trailer. I know it was about, like, it was, like, about, like, family, and he's obviously, like, it's about a kid, and he's a musician.
Illegal immigrants, yeah.
Yeah.
Kidding people.
And then, like, it seems like most of the movie's, like, a bunch of skeletons. Like, so, yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew it was Pixar. I know it looked beautiful.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
a little beer ski?
What are you talking about?
A little pod beer? Little pod beer?
Door.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. It's a, like, I'll say this, it's like, it's a really good story. It's a very sweet story. And I would also like to point out, like, the fact that this is, like, all voiced by what I can see is, basically all Latinos. It's all about, Mexican culture, and, like, especially concerning, like, Dia de los Muertos, like the Day of the Dead. and just the culture of Mexico and everything. Like the fact that Pixar, chose to do that and put so much energy and money into making this new big, Disney Pixar movie. Like I commend them. I like it's in certain times where you're seeing like things, everything's going the wrong direction. It's nice to see Disney going, in the right direction, being like, no, we need to embrace culture. We need to embrace our neighbors to the south. We need to, be more like supportive of, and if anything, it's going to teach kids, culture of Mexico and the Day of the Dead and, how they appreciate family and, the things that are really important in their culture. So, dude, I like when it comes to that type of stuff, like this movie's, is awesome. I love that.
So I'm just going to say right now, so full spoilers for this, by the way, too. I just got to say, man, this movie, you're right. It's one of those beautiful things I've seen in animation ever. You're right that when they get to the Land of the Dead, it's just the color palette is fucking insane when you get there. It's like holy shit. I mean, and it's different shades of colors too.
Yeah.
Which
Did you have like the little opening where they showed you like behind the scenes or whatever? There's like
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. They play. I like that they played that right before the movie started. Where just like just so you really appreciate what you're about to see. Like this is literally like millions of individual moving parts all animated. It's like there's no filler or anything. Like this is all a real working like environment that you're watching. I'm just like that's pretty impressive.
I had that flashback to that Patton Oswalt bit about kids being at the spirit cave and being like, oh, these are our new animators when they get the skunk and they're all depressed and they want to draw.
That's great. Yeah, I remember that.
That's where my mind went. So to get in the plot real quick, full spoilers by the way. Miguel, who's played by Anthony Gonzalez, he grew up idolizing Ernesto de la Cruz. God, you catch my Spanish?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Thank you. Who's voiced by Benjamin Bratt, which I did not recognize his voice at all. So kudos to him for just not, because I'm usually pretty good at voices. And I didn't catch his at all. So, was it his great grandfather, if memory serves?
Yeah. Well, it's his great grandmother's dad, so it'd be great.
Oh,
yeah.
Great grandfather. So. Like one of the most like famous musicians, like I guess you could compare him to what you probably compare him like Mexican like Elvis. Probably.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like basically he has like the kind of following that like Elvis has in America.
Yeah, and he starred in I'm sure a bunch of crappy movies and
yeah
and all that and so he wants to be a musician like his great grandfather. And basically, his Ernesto just ran out on his wife to become the most famous musician. And so music is banned in the house. And when I say it's banned, it's fucking banned. There's a point where some people were playing music outside, and the grandma like runs out, goes like go away, and like hit them with her cane. And I was like, Jesus Christ, okay, like you really don't like music. It's pretty. It's almost comical in the way that music is banned, but when you find out like the backstory, you go, well, okay, that you probably would have that extreme of a reaction. So basically, there's this like kind of like a talent showcase that takes place in like the town square. Miguel goes to play it, and he doesn't have a guitar, so he sneaks into Ernesto de la Cruz's grave and goes to steal his. And at that point, he's transported to the Land of the Dead, where basically he has to find his way home with the help of a couple of good old misfits. But so I mean, it's definitely a kind of a standard plot with some twists with some twists thrown in. I will say, I thought the voice acting across the board was fucking pristine. There was no one that I went, oh, they didn't bring it. Everyone in this movie, it feels so authentic. I love the way they really do embrace Mexican culture, as you mentioned. The music, the score in here is maybe the best score that Pixar's had, in my opinion, since The Incredibles. Because I love the score for The Incredibles, but the music just across the board, it's it's immersive, and I found myself like doing a little juke and jiving in my seat. I was like, oh shit! I was like, okay. He plays one of Ernesto's songs at the like the Day of the Dead talent show. Dude, I was dancing in my seat. I won't even lie. I was sitting there. I was eating my Panda Express that I snuck in, and I was dancing in my seat. I was like, "Get him, Miguel! Hell yeah!" Like I love the music in this. I mean, even when he's just running around the town, the music is so immersive. And there's a great joke with his grandma, Mama Coco, where she goes to give him food. Oh no, it's not Mama Coco gives him food. I think it's his mom who gives him food, or her mom gives him food. And she's like, "Oh, you want a tamale?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good with just one." And she like glares at him like, "No, you totally want 7. Like you don't have any bones." And I've definitely been at Mexican friends' houses where that's been the thing, where it's like, "Oh, I'm good with this." And it's like, "No, you want more." It's like, "Oh shit, all right." So I thought that was just really, really sweet. And I don't know, man. I was sitting there the whole time, and sorry, I gotta go back to the Olaf short real quick. I'm sorry. Could you not let Mexican people just have this movie without sneaking the fucking Olaf thing? Like, it just came across a little whitewashy. Like, am I reaching for straws, Colin? Or did that come across a little bit? Or
Like, I don't know if I felt that way, but like right when it happened, I was just like, oh, this is gonna piss people off. I was like, especially like people that were coming to see Coco and had no idea, and they were like excited to see like the authentic, Mexican Pixar movie. And then all of a sudden you get a 20-minute, Olaf's, adventure where it's nothing but white people, in Norway or whatever. So I'm just, like, I was like, I know they mean well. They're like trying to surprise kids that are, kids that are Frozen fans and being like, oh, here's a little treat, little surprise. But I was like, dude, this is going to piss people off. This was such a stupid idea. I don't know why the hell they thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, it just came, for me, it just came across, it just rang very hollow. And there's just really no reason to do it when it comes down to it. I just went, don't do that. Like, there's no reason to do this. And they just couldn't fucking help themselves. I think for me, it came across very much like, hey, Frozen 2, 2019, that's coming out. You get to know that, right? I don't know. It was really unnecessary, and it really did actually irritate me that I'm not just because the short was dog shit, but it did come across of, oh, you can't have like the full movie. It would be like if, and this would actually still irritate me if they put a Captain America short before Black Panther. I'd be irritated. I was like, I don't like, I love Captain America, but this is a Black Panther movie. Don't give me that. Give me like, let me enjoy this for its own thing. But so I just kind of want to talk about the characters here. So by the time I got to the end of the movie, so Hector is kind of like this, who I'm gonna butcher his names because these are some of the most Mexican names ever in the cast. So it's let's try this. Gael Garcia Bernal, sure. Who voices Hector, who comes across a little like a little bit like a hustler, when he's talking to Miguel. He befriends him in the Land of the Dead and says, hey.
Well, when you first meet him, he's dressed like a woman, so I would say so.
Yeah, so, I mean, he does come across kind of like, okay, he's gonna try to, screw me over, and I love the way how Hector gets his redemption at the very end. I mean, the thing about this movie is if you've seen enough film, and we review a lot of stuff, but we watch so much stuff that we don't even review. I mean, there's a point where you can put the pieces together and figure out, A to B, A B to C, etc. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Colin. When they got to the end with Hector and him trying to get, make sure he didn't, Mama Coco didn't lose her memory of him, dude, I was bawling my eyes out. Like, I was crying like uncomfortably. I was like crying into my sweatshirt. I was like, goddamn fucking Disney magic. Like, it got me, man. And I thought that the relationship between him and Miguel, there's a point where they're playing together for that concert, and it's just such a sweet moment, and Hector's like cheering him on, and I don't know, man. This movie, it gave me the feels, man. Like it really did.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find out about Ernesto de la Cruz and how he killed Hector to get his fame, it's like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so for a kids film, I mean, it's pretty fucked up, honestly. You'd be like, oh yeah, Colin poisoned me to take over Real Pineapple. Like it's like, oh, like, it was actually sad, but
I would do it.
Cool. Yeah, I know. Make sure I don't drink empty handed, but it was actually pretty intense. I found for a kids movie because Ernesto, when that switch flips, it is like, oh, by the way, Miguel, it's been really nice to meet you. Oh, you're gonna fuck up my plans. Let me go ahead and kill you real quick. Like,
yeah.
It gets crazy. Kind of. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like, you definitely like this movie more than me. I'm gonna say that right now. You've been talking it a lot. Like, I thought the story was like pretty basic. But and so like the final reveal, like when you realize, you know, Hector's the father, and you know there really wasn't like a true villain in this movie the whole time until you find. I'm like, okay, so you know who's the bad guy, you know, and then you know you're finally presented. You're like, okay, it's actually Ernesto de la Cruz. You know, it's not his great grandfather. It's actually Hector, who's been forgotten. So I mean, like, yeah, I thought that was clever enough. It was a good way they kind of wrapped that up, and yeah, most of the time, you know, the villain was essentially like his family, who was, you know, trying to suppress his, you know, wanting to be this musician, like his great grandfather that he thought was his grandfather. So I was just like, okay, so the villain's like his family, and then the villain's kind of like, it's like the same thing once he gets to the land of the dead. But then yeah, once the shoe drops and it's Ernesto de la Cruz, I was like, that makes sense, because I knew there had to be something more to this, because it was like pretty bland up until that point. So like that definitely helped, I thought, the story once they had that reveal.
Yeah, I just found, for me, the reveal was so... you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Toy Story 2, when you find out that I mean, and you know it's happening, but when you find out that Kelsey Grammer's Stinky Pete is just a big old asshole. Like, you're like, God damn, okay, like, trying to lock Jesse in the box and shit. Like, you know it's coming, you know, because you're right, there's no villain. You're kind of sitting there like, okay, he needs to get home, but there's got to be, you know, a roadblock in order for him to not get home immediately.
Right, yeah.
So, and I thought the way that Miguel, when his, he has such a big family, I'm trying to keep it all straight, when his, I believe it's his grandma, breaks his guitar, it's a pretty fucked up moment. I was like, wow, that is really shitty. And when he like yells at his parents and says, I hate you, I don't want to be a part of this family, I went, yeah, kid, I don't blame you, because they broke your fucking guitar like a bunch of dickheads. So you get why he runs away, but at the same time, when you figure out, you know, what happened, been happening for family, you understand why the parents are so hesitant for him to pursue music. It in no way excuses their behavior, by the way. I'm more on Miguel's side than the shitty parents who broke his fucking instrument like dickheads. But you at least understand where the parents are coming from, which is a really tough balancing act to strike, too.
Yeah.
You can always lean one way more than the other. And yeah, I don't know. I think they found like a damn near perfect balance for that. And then, and I've mentioned it, but the music in here is just so goddamn wonderful. And when Hector is supposedly forgotten, and Miguel starts singing the song that Hector would sing to Coco when she was a kid, dude, I lost it, man. Like, that was what put me over the edge. Mm-hmm. I was like, God. And the thing is, I knew it was coming, so I was trying really hard to prepare myself to just not cry. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm like, fuck you, Disney, you're not getting me.
Yeah.
And then
they always get you, especially Pixar.
They dude, that Disney, the Disney magic, man. Dude. It's a real thing.
Well, I mean, it's when they can just like throw, you know, like old people in there, and you know, like people dying, or like, you know, just like losing people that you love or whatever, like the way they do it in the start of Up, I mean, it's just absolute cheap shot. You know, they just gut you like right when you start that movie, just absolutely gut you. And it's just yeah, same thing on a couple of things here.
Yeah, I mean, and even the picture reveal when you see Hector's like face like put back on the picture, and like I was like, oh god damn it, it's like Disney, it's like I hate you. So I understand why some people admittedly will roll their eyes and be like, oh, this is dumb. I mean, I don't know, like I get people do that, but I think if you're looking for stuff to complain about, you have to look pretty hard to find stuff to complain about. That's like story wise, that's like wrong, or that this movie does incorrectly. Is it a cliche story? Yes. In that sense, the point by numbers, yeah, kinda. But it doesn't really matter because there's so many tropes that have been done by now. At this point, there's very few things that are truly original. It's more about the execution, and the execution of this movie is damn near flawless. So, kind of wrapping up here and getting my final thoughts, I'll save you for last. I was crying at points in this movie, but when I'm weeping, and I mean weeping to a point where I ran out of that theater once it was over, so I could just not have people staring at me like, oh god, who's that big old loser crying in the corner. I enjoyed everything about it. The music is great. The animation is top notch. The voice acting is incredible. Everything that needed to be great about this movie was great about this movie. And if a movie makes me weep, I got to give it a fan-fucking-tastic. So this is a fan-fucking-tastic for me. Colin, your final thoughts and your great kind sir.
Wow. Yeah. You like this movie way more than me, and I didn't want to like have this podcast turn into like, you clearly really really like this movie, and I don't like dislike it so much that like I feel like I need to argue against it. So I didn't want to like butt in on a lot of the parts that I disagreed with you on, but I definitely didn't like this movie as much as you. And so when I'm thinking about really why, the main reasons...
No, I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding, man. Go ahead.
And dude, it sucks that I did kind of feel handcuffed on this, that I was just like, oh man, I don't think I could even really talk about what I don't like, because it's just going to come off as just like some ignorant white dude. But
No. Your last name's not Trump, so humor me. What did you...
Yeah, I didn't vote for that guy, so I'm in the clear. Like,
yeah, so what did you not like? Just humor me real quick.
Well, yeah, so, like, one of my main things was that, like, a lot of it was just, like, kind of boring to me, because I didn't feel any, like, immediate peril, any, like, there wasn't, like, things weren't urgent, they weren't, like, pressing. They kind of implemented, like, a Back to the Future thing where he was turning to a skeleton, but that almost felt like it was kind of, like, just brushing it off, because they're like, oh, man, we should probably put some kind of urgency in here. They're like, oh, well, let's make him be turned into a skeleton. I thought that was kind of, like, an afterthought. But like, okay, for while like the movie was progressing, like the things I really like about the movie is definitely like the family values, the way that he's like really focusing on like, you know, I need to follow my dreams, but like the main point of the movie is that like no, you need to appreciate your family. Like that's the most important thing is family. Like that really highlights like the, you know, the culture that they're trying to represent. Like family is everything. That's like the Day of the Dead is all about appreciating your family that's gone. Like I love that. I love the way they do that. But like as far as the actual like A to B to C, like as the movie progresses, like I just like wasn't riveted, you know, the whole time. And I was like, there's no main villain. You know, it's his family. Like that was like one of my main complaints. And then like there wasn't like a lot of personality to me. There wasn't like Hector. I feel like really they couldn't make him like the scoundrel that I wanted him to be. Like where like I felt like he could have been this big overbearing kind of like personality, like that was like, you know, just bringing life to every scene, because they didn't want to make him a bad guy in the long run too much, because obviously at the big reveal you find out like, oh okay, he's actually the great-great-grandfather, he's the good guy in all of this, you can't make him this big scoundrel. I get that. And then like once they did reveal the villain that it was Ernesto de la Cruz, the movie got way better at that point for me. But there was this long run where I just was like wasn't riveted. I was like kind of almost bored. And it really like lands very well at the end. and it's very emotional. Definitely, like I love like. That's what Pixar does. It makes everything like very real, very emotional, very, you know, gives you the feels, as you put it.
Yeah.
So like I like all that stuff. But like I kept comparing it to like in my mind I was just like thinking about like a movie like Aladdin where you have like the genie, like this amazing like funny like bigger than life personality coming in, like moving things along. You know, they had the dog. The dog was, you know, I was thinking like, oh, the dog's kind of like Abu or the rug or something. You know, he was funny, like just
carpet. Thank you.
Or carpet. Yeah, sorry.
God, rug.
So I mean, yeah. So I just thought it was lacking personality. I didn't think it was funny. Like nothing. There wasn't a lot of stuff that made me laugh. Like, you know, usually Disney has like a lot of funny stuff in it. So I didn't think it was very funny either. So like all of that just led to kind of like a long, kind of drawn out movie for the main chunk of the middle part for me. And like honestly, like when I walked out, I was like, I like what they were doing. I like everything about it. But dude, this just isn't for me. This isn't like a movie that like I would think back and I would want to see. And like walking out, like dude, that movie was a B for me. It's not as, but like I hear why you love it, and that's why I didn't want to like turn this into like me shitting all over it for the whole review.
So if Miguel was named like Kathy, you'd like him more, basically.
Yeah.
What I mean. Yeah. All right.
Right.
Fair enough. You're not cultured. That's fine. It's
see, and that like that's the bullshit. Is like I know that more people agree with me, but like no one's gonna say it because that's the immediate thing that's gonna get thrown in their face, like racist. Not, you know, like you all you like is like American, like what you want, you like the whitewash stuff, and like that's what really sucks too. Like that, like, you know. Like a movie like this, in my opinion, which could have been better, you know, we'll get away with being, you know, not as good as it could have been.
You know, it's funny though. Honestly, like, and I'm totally giving you shit. You're not racist at all. I mean, you've hung out with my big lips for years, but it does suck to that extent. Dude, I remember when, oh god, I'm trying to think of the female movie. I'm totally blanking, but there's some like female driven movie, and I remember thinking, I told my friends like, this is stupid. Oh no, because they're doing that Ocean's 11 remake, and I was talking to my friend about it, and he's like, oh, the all female cast. I'm like, oh, that's stupid. My friend was like, what? My friend's like, oh, why is it stupid? And I'm like, there's just no reason to do it. I thought the same thing about Ghostbusters. I didn't care it was an all female cast. It wasn't funny, you know. But that's the first thing people do. It's like, oh, you didn't like it because it's all girls. It's like, no, that's not why. It's because it wasn't a good fucking movie. That's why we didn't like Ghostbusters. Yeah.
And that movie was worse to me because it was trying to be funny and it wasn't funny. Like, I'm just saying, like, this movie wasn't funny. I don't really think they were trying super hard to be. There was a couple funny moments, but there was no like big funny personality, you know, in the character. I feel like if they had like you know like a Latino comedian voicing somebody, like a big name in you know comedy voicing one of these characters, you could have got a lot of personality out of one of these characters, and I don't think they did that.
Hey, you know what though? I mean, your complaints. I mean, well, I don't agree with them. They're not like they're not unfounded. It's not you just pulling shit out of your ass. So like, I can't even be mad at you for saying this shit. Like I get it, and I've talked to some people who said, yeah, I enjoyed it, but they didn't love it. But like I said, if a movie makes me weep, it's kind of a fan-fucking-tastic by default. So,
yeah.
I mean, if I were to go lower, which I'm not, but I would at least give this an A-. Like, I mean,
yeah.
For me, personally. I mean, I might change my mind, you know, in 8 months on the fan-fucking-tastic. But like I said, I left that theater, and I was feeling better. I actually went home and listened to the score while I was cooking tacos. I'm kidding. But
the music's very good. I mean, it's all very mariachi, but I mean, it's really good though.
Yeah, but it's like the best mariachi.
Or there's some like there's like some flamenco guitar too. I mean, it's good, definitely good stuff. It's like beautiful guitar work throughout the movie.
Yeah, so I mean, kudos to them on the soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, Pixar's always money on that. Like I said, dude, it sounds amazing. It fucking looks amazing. Like, it's a beautiful, like, great sounding movie. Like you can't go wrong with throwing this on for the kids. Like, they're gonna fucking love it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, in a world where Cars 3 exists, I would put this on if I had a kid.
Oh
I
yeah,
would put this on.
Cars is in the C or lower range. This is better than Cars.
Yeah, you know, because it's like, hey, kids, like you can have fun and you can be cultured, like, and plus tamales are fucking delicious. I could go for tamale right now.
Yeah.
As high as I am, I could go for tamale right now.
Yeah, see, Cars is a situation where they like did what I'm talking about and got that comedian to voice a character, and it went horribly wrong because they got Larry the fucking Cable Guy.
Okay, I think calling Larry Cable Guy a comedian is kind of a stretch, but I can't.
He was on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. That's how he started doing stand up.
I don't give a fuck. He's just not just.
Yeah, but no, yeah, he's not funny, so it's hard to be a comedian if you're not funny.
Yeah, it's like Cedric the Entertainer, which I think is the most ironic name, like maybe ever. It's like,
did you not like him?
Yeah, I was like, I'm Cedric. I'm here to entertain you. It's like, I saw Codename the Cleaner, and you're a shitty fucking actor and a shittier comedian, so you don't entertain me. And God, just sorry. Anyways, back to Coco. But
right.
Guys, I would like to get people's thoughts on what you thought about Coco. So please let us. Because I've heard some people say, like, this is in their, like, top 3.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like I'm on an island. Like, even looking through, like, reviews online, like, people fucking love this movie. And, like, you know, I'm probably wrong. But this is just, like, that's how I felt leaving. I'm definitely on an island, though.
What I will say, though, too, like, to your, like, to stick up for you here a little bit, I do think that Pixar is such a brand now that people are almost afraid to criticize it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So...
I think people criticize Cars pretty much, but that's just like because it's, you know, kind of centered around the South and it's easy to pick on the South.
But I mean, you say that, but I mean, we both really enjoyed Logan Lucky. So
oh hell yeah, loved Logan Lucky.
Yeah, that might be on my top 10 list, but
oh, that's on mine 100%.
But my nigga C Tates, but fucking love that movie, but. I would love to get people's thoughts on this, so please let us know what you thought about Coco in the comments below. You can follow us here on SoundCloud, Podbean, and iTunes at The Real Pineapple. You can follow us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman1st, and you can follow Colin on Twitter at
The Real O'Neill. And
guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up for some of our favorite Christmas movies this weekend, which I'm really excited about because I don't need an excuse to watch Die Hard. I just watched it on Thanksgiving, but
oh nice,
hell yeah, I'll watch Die Hard again. So so I'll have a review up for Die Hard. Scott's picking the movie he's gonna have us review for Christmas, and Jingle All the Way, which I've been wanting to review on this podcast for so long. I actually wanted to review it last year, and I just kind of went, okay. But I'm so excited we're gonna review All the Way. That's gonna be great.
It's a great movie.
And then I believe it so good. And then I believe Disaster Artist comes out next week, so we'll have a review up for that. And I'm gonna have a review up for my first episodes of The Runaways, which is on Hulu, another Marvel show. God, Marvel has so much shit out right now; it's ridiculous. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Meow.